Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Saturday morning, and I am about to take my kids out on an adventure and a journey. So I'm having my cup of coffee, and you know I got to give you guys a Palantir video before I go out. I apologize for the lighting situation, but it is what it is. I am underneath my gazebo, baby. My gazebo with my plants. In any case, Palantir had a pretty good week. We ended around 1660 off the top of my head. We even hit $17 pre-market. The day was not kind to us, and we ended up being red. But we were red like under 2% at the end of the day. Listen, you can't get mad with some fallback in price, especially when we had such crazy run-up. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening with Palantir right now, shall we? If you go on search and you just search Palantir, Palantir has no less than 7 articles that came out within the last 24 hours. That's a quick search. And Palantir went from one of those obscure kids that nobody pays attention to, not a bad kid, actually, one of those genius kids that you know is going to change the world, but nobody's paying attention to them, to now becoming the star quarterback. And it's almost like the opportunity just never arose. There was never an opportunity for Palantir to shine, and nobody really cared about their abilities. But all of a sudden, with this AI renaissance, Palantir is in the perfect position and has the perfect opportunity to shine and do what they do. I made a tweet earlier today. Check me out on Twitter at Adam Bergmans, SS. And it's an article from CNBC. And CNBC says Palantir is now with AIP doing what healthcare used to rely on, PowerPoints and Excel. Really cool article. Definitely you guys should read it. And I'm noticing that there's just so much more love coming towards Palantir. Now, believe it or not, especially if you guys have been following me on the crypto channel, momentum means something. Meme-like means something. Marketing, public relations, whatever you want to call this is all the same. Making sure you get eyeballs and ears on your project. And without eyeballs and ears, it doesn't really matter what you do, right? If you're the biggest tree in the forest and you fell, but nobody's there to hear you, did you really make a sound, right? And I've been using that analogy for like over a year now as I've been covering Palantir. So a lot of people are like, hey, Palantir went up like crazy. Palantir, is going to go back. Maybe Palantir is going to go back. But right now, Palantir is like 1660, 1665, whatever, some mid-16s. What if it goes up to 20 and the base is now going to be around $20? Groku says it on Twitter. You guys should definitely follow him. And he says, what if we form a base at $20 the same way we formed the base at $8 before? He did some technical analysis showing why, that might be the case. And I hope that is the case. So where I'm going with this is a lot of people are so quick to sell because they think there's going to be a super pullback to like $12 or $13 or $10. And maybe there will be. I don't know if it will, it won't. I'm not giving you guys advice, nor am I qualified to give you advice, nor would I want to give you guys advice. But what I am going to give you is my own personal opinion and my own thought process and logical process. For me, Palantir is just getting started. It's their game to lose. What do I mean by that? Palantir is about to have earnings. I don't know if this next earnings is going to be a home run. I know they're guiding for like 12 or 13%. Last earnings, they were guiding for that as well, and we ended up hitting 18%. So it's not hard to beat earnings. And I am really, truly hoping that we're absolutely going to smash earnings this time as well. And if we do, then the price is going to start getting a little bit more justified because we're growing into our shoes, so to speak. But I believe that Q3 and Q4 of this year is going to be very kind to Palantir. Earlier this week, Palantir announced $111 million worth of contracts. 3 contracts, $58 million, $36 million, and like $19 million. U.S. Air Force, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. Command. And all of it is for data integration. And I use the word integration, not analytics. There's a huge difference between data analytics and data integration, as Dr. Alex Karp told us in that last interview that I posted on my channel. So, 110 million. But these contracts, as remarkable as they are additions to already existing contracts. We already work with U.S. Command, Air Force, and Space Force. The craziest thing is this is 1-year contract. It's not a 5-year contract. It's a 1-year contract. I believe Palantir will keep growing and keep getting these type of contracts and keep getting bigger, more contracts. Bigger, more? Bigger contracts. Take out the more. More, bigger. That's not how you say it. Any case. Um, why? Artificial intelligence is the new rage. It's not going anywhere. I believe Microsoft says that they're going to see $10 billion of recurring revenue, which means there's going to be consistent revenue coming from artificial intelligence. They said this might be their largest recurring revenue stream, which is absolutely insane. I didn't read through the whole article. Shout out to Sam. I saw him post something like that. By the way, Sam is absolutely killing it. Microsoft is the largest position, and it's hit a 52-week high. I know he has Tesla. I know he has Adobe. He doesn't have Palantir, but that's okay. He has a really nice growth stock. Shout out to you guys, to Sam. You guys should definitely watch him. Also, he's one of the HIMSS bulls, one of the few other HIMSS bulls besides for me. There's a handful of other people that I'm meeting now. But in any case, let's keep talking about Palantir. So Microsoft isn't going anywhere. Microsoft believes that artificial intelligence is, a revolution that's here. Google's believing the same exact thing. You think Palantir is not going to, prosper from that? If Microsoft is getting 10 billion, you think maybe, just maybe, Palantir can grab $1 billion of reoccurring revenue? Maybe 500 million of reoccurring revenue? I'm talking about annually. This would dramatically increase their revenue, right? Their reoccurring revenue would for the year would be huge. It would increase their numbers and their growth immensely. Now, obviously, you can't compare that, apples to apples. It's not exactly the same thing, but you get what I'm trying to say. There is a lot of money, and when I say a lot, I mean a shit ton of money coming into artificial intelligence. And the interesting thing is, it's not just artificial intelligence for business. It's also artificial intelligence for government, both military and non-military. People keep forgetting that. 3 sectors for Palantir, and then you have subsectors. Business, commercial, government, non-military, and government military. The government military, for example, 110 million. Government non-military, for example, abroad. Right now we're building an AI hub in London for Europe. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of England, UK, he came out with a £100 million AI task force. You think Palantir is not going to get some of that money? That's government non-military. Guys, Palantir has a lot of room to grow. And I honestly think Palantir is just starting here. I think there's going to be a lot more announcements coming up of Palantir growing and making their, partnerships. Now, there was a really cool announcement earlier today by NATO, where NATO says that Ukraine can now join the table, not as a full NATO member, but like on a Ukraine Defense Council. I think that was the name. Don't quote me, but you guys can check the news. I'll post it later. And one of the things that they reiterated was support for Ukraine, obviously, which you guys can like it or hate it and agree or not agree, but this is very good for Palantir. And let's just keep it strictly for Palantir right now and Lockheed Martin. But one of the things that they said is that NATO countries will do a minimum of 2% GDP contribution to NATO defense. Now, for the longest time, I believe America was the only country that actually puts in their fair share of NATO, which is one of the things that Trump was complaining about. Nobody listened to him. But lo and behold, now people are listening to what he said. He predicted all of this. Not like exactly, but he did predict a lot of what's happening here. Germany says that they will contribute 2% to GDP spending. They also said that they were going to increase their military spending by $100 million. I believe Spain said that they're going to try to get to 2% GDP, but now they're reaffirming that all NATO countries need to put in that 2% GDP. Now, Ukraine is a partner with Palantir in the official reconstruction of Ukraine. Palantir's major market is United States and UK and now Ukraine. And now they're going to have this joint NATO council for the defense of Ukraine. You think Palantir is not going to get up in there with other NATO countries? They're already working with some other ones, right? They're building a hub in Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken, like the ex-Soviet countries, the Baltic states. You think Palantir is not going to prosper from this? So there's so many opportunities for Palantir to grow. There's so many avenues for Palantir to keep expanding. So for anybody that thinks Palantir is going to go back to $10, maybe. And if it does, okay, I buy more. I'm not praying for it to go down because I already was buying on the dip. So that's the thing. I met with a couple of my friends and I'm like, hey, you guys are up on Palantir? They're like, no, we're still down on Palantir. I'm like, well, were you buying the dips? No, we weren't. Whose fault is that? If you're an investor and you're not taking advantage of the dips, you're never going to get those crazy returns. Those people, average bear market 1.3 years, 33% down. Average bull market 4.5 years, 151% up. However, if you keep buying on the dips the whole time, that 151 is going to be more like 500%, right? I'm just throwing an arbitrary number out there. Take advantage of the dips. I already bought Palantir. I'm not going to be buying any more dips. If Palantir goes to $50, $100, $200, $300, $400, whatever it's going to go to, I'm going to be hitting multiple 7 figures on Palantir, so I'm not really going to care. 7, 8 figures even. So thank God. And I hope that's what ends up happening. I'm going to enjoy the ride. And eventually, once Palantir stops growing, they will be issuing dividends. Eventually. I'm talking about in 20, 30 years from now, Palantir will be a dividend company. I think. So you can enjoy dividends from Palantir in a few decades from now. You don't really have to sell it. You could always borrow against your shares, so on and so forth. I will be sharing an options play, a covered call play with my channel members. If you want to become a channel member, I have started sharing all of my plays for options, whether I buy, whether I sell, so on and so forth. And I'm going to keep contributing this type of content. I actually made a play on Friday. I shared that play with the group, and I explained my thinking behind it. Not to say that I'm right or wrong or advising or suggesting. It's just purely entertainment and education where I'm going through my thought process. If you guys want to become channel members, there's going to be a link down below. Just go in the description. It says become a channel member. And for becoming a channel member, you get to buy me a cup of coffee. If you don't want to be a channel member, that's quite all right. Please follow me on Twitter. I would definitely appreciate that. That would help me out a lot. What else? Yeah, that's all I want to say. This is just like kind of chatting by the fireside, so to speak, talking about Palantir, enjoying myself in the gazebo. So beautiful outside. I made like this whole play place for my son. There's like a trampoline over there. There's a slide over there. There's a jungle gym over there. There's a teepee over there. There's a table, like a picnic table over there. There's a table for arts and crafts over there. A little fridge for his beverages over there. I have like a sandcastle place over there where he can play. I got like little blocks. Got a bunch of cars. A bunch of cars everywhere. Little trucks. I got them everywhere. A ball pit for him. Basically, it's like a little Disney World. So I'm going to take him right now. And before I take him, I got to do my duties. I might have my fatherly duties. I have my son duties. I'm going to go visit my mother right now. She had the surgery. Thank you, everybody, for the best wishes. She's in a recovery home right now, like an old age recovery home. Hopefully, she'll be coming home soon. So we visited her with the kids. And then I have my duties as a YouTuber and I guess a Palantir community spokesman. Does that make sense? Whatever. I'm actually supposed to go to the Palantir headquarters on Monday. So an engineer, I forgot his name, I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't have my computer in front of me. He works as an engineer in Palantir, Manhattan, and he says, would you like to come by for lunch? I said, yeah. Does a zebra have stripes? Of course I want to come over. That would be really, really cool. I'm trying to set up some interviews. Also, if anybody watches this channel and you happen to be a TV personality like my man Keith Fitzgerald, who came on the show, thank you so much, and you guys want to communicate with the Palantir community and you guys want to gain followers, I think Fitz gained like several hundred followers, please reach out. You don't need to come on my little show. Ahmed has a huge show. He has like 20,000 subscribers. His show got like 1,300 views, 1,300 people viewing when Fitz came on. So if you guys are a TV personality, please come on. I'm trying to reach out to Dan Ives. His DMs is broken. And I'm trying to reach out to a bunch of other people, and they don't even answer their DMs. So if you guys want to come on the show and support Palantir and the Palantir community can support you, please come on the show. Guys, at the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen with Palantir. I am as bullish as ever for Palantir. And it's their game to lose. They are in the lead right now. The only thing they need to do is grow into their shoes. They need the revenue to come in. If they can somehow get revenue to just 20%, forget about the 30. 30 would be like monster. If they can just increase to 20%, then everything's going to start getting justified. I'm not saying 20% is good. I'm just saying 20% is what we need at the very least to continue going up and riding this AI bubble. But remember, bubbles don't pop overnight. It can take 5-10 years for this bubble to pop, or maybe overnight, but I don't think it's a bubble. But I'm just giving you guys some expectations. And could you imagine how much money you can make on Palantir riding this wave for the next 5-10 years, and then Palantir actually produces the revenue, produces the numbers, and Palantir is one of the premier AI companies for the United States military, the UK military, the Ukrainian military, and half of the NATO countries and NATO military. And don't laugh, this can actually happen. Don't forget, Titan is coming out. The Titan truck is freaking cool, man. That's like a Batman truck, right? It could do everything. Palantir is here. Palantir is here to stay. And for anybody calling Palantir a meme stock, you know, you guys are hating on Palantir for no reason. Like, to call them a meme stock, it's absolutely freaking comical that a meme stock is protecting our nuclear arsenal for the United States. The meme stock has level 6 clearance, and they're partners with the rebuilding of Ukraine. But you call Palantir a meme stock. It's funny. And these anti-grifters are grifting your money away. How much money would people lose if they didn't get into Palantir at $8 and $9 and $7 because these anti-grifting grifters are talking you guys out of getting into one of the best investments of our generation? Thank you very much. Have a great day.